And we're on. Hi, it's Mark Small. I'm back for part 2 of our fantastic civil discourse now tonight. Cassie Jackson is on here with me. Cassie, how are you this fine evening?
Thanks for having me on.
We were discussing rats just a few minutes ago, and my rat figurine back here spoke to me between episodes and letting me know that in no way are rats saying they have any connection with Micah Beckwith.
I didn't think they would. I thought neither would the swine, right?
No. I know. See, and so it's just one of those things. So, anyways, let's go back to discussing Beckwith. When you sit there and you think about somebody who claims to be, he said he has these years as a minister and as a small business owner, but doesn't know that you can't fire somebody because of their sex, is a little disturbing. But then also, he's saying these things that those statements that he's making are going to be evidence in court. If he makes it into office, he's going to get the so then
that's a really great point. That's a great point. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I was going to go into his faulty education with this whole
but it's like, so you're looking at the taxpayers before the guy's even in the door, if he's lieutenant governor, hitting the public coffers because he's blocked some of us on Facebook and other social media.
Some of us. He's blocked everyone with a dissenting opinion. There's a whole Facebook group called Hoosiers Against Micah Beckwith. It's literally everyone that, if you guys don't know about it, it's a public page, but it's everyone that's been blocked. Go ahead.
Yeah, but there's another one, a second one that is, I've been blocked by Micah Beckwith, and that's
a little secret one.
That's an elite group. But
elite group.
When you think about what he's doing, it's like, okay, so you're gonna get sued coming in the door, but then he's the running mate of a guy in his 70s.
Yeah, and that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, we can statistically talk about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because if Braun croaks, Beckwith's in, and that's right. So he has said he wants to go into classrooms and make sure they're teaching history.
Yeah, so I have audio, and I'm sure at this point he's done it even more publicly with the news media, but he has been very explicit in that he wants to go into classrooms and talk about the Constitution and also bring God into the classroom. I also think that what I would like to quickly highlight is that we can talk about where Micah got his education, but I do know for a fact, because I at one time knew the children. I just think it's important because you know how I am with the kids, Mark. Real quick, let me just throw this in. The children's pastor, who is the pastor of all of Life Churches, P.S. everyone, she feels like she's a psychologist. And she has been taught at these Hillsdale or whatever Heritage Foundation type schools in psychology. So they are not just they are pumping out people to really feel like they are educated. And it's very disturbing to me just because of the amount of research I've done into it. Sorry, I'm getting off track. Go.
No, that's okay. And that's going off to discuss about her, which I don't want to do, but
the only reason I mentioned her was, and her name's Tina Pavey, is because she's in charge of the children. Thank you for letting me put that in there.
Well, and the thing about this me also is when I coached debate at IUPUI, we went to two tournaments at Hillsdale, and that I didn't catch that vibe there. I mean, but their debate team, this is 90 to 93. Their debate team was not. Their coach was a friend of mine, and but it's what they're talking about now. And I've taken part of one of their courses online, Hillsdale's. It's really absurd, and it's but to have somebody say, "I'm going to go into the classroom and do this," he's a dumbass.
Yeah, what lieutenant governor in any role in any state has done that? Besides photo op visits where they go and they're like, we're doing a read month, or
you're gonna throw him out. And also with the way that he's wanting, the way that the churches and parochial schools have wanted to drive public education out of business, it's who's going to toss him out? And that
well, right. If we don't, yeah, I mean, and I just in our group that you were mentioning today, we had a member that just posted. She searched for in her photos, and came up with a direct quote of Beckwith, with which we can share, and I'm happy to share my page and will, about him saying that one of the first things that he wants to do if he did have power, ultimate kind of control, would be to gut the Department of Education. He flat out writes that. And puts the money value by it too. I forget what it was, but
when you consider also that he has said, and this goes into the employment thing, he said in October of 2019 in a video where he's in his car talking about things real serious. I hope he didn't run over any pedestrians. He says, you can't be moral unless you're a Christian. Sorry, if you're a Hindu. What was it? A Hindu, a Jew, or an atheist?
Hindus, atheists.
Okay, but okay, yeah. Well, how about if I've got one Muslim and 2 Methodists and an agnostic? Is that kind of a straight or something? I mean, it's absurd. So
he's telling us that he's going to be selective in the people that he picks. If he only wants to pick moral people, in his view, it will only be his kind of Christians, right? Christian nationalism is not something that's viewed by the majority of Christians in this state, as well as across the country, as how the Bible works. It's not the favorable. It's not the majority view. It just has a lot of money behind that. I want to emphasize that.
Well, yeah. and that's what he gets by on, is like when he's talking about the Constitution and he tries to say that this is a Christian country. This is from the arguments of a ratification of the Constitution in North Carolina. This is from 1787 or 88. The states had to ratify the convention, or had to ratify the Constitution. So each state had a convention. They didn't. The framers didn't want to go through the legislatures. This was not to be a document, the Constitution, that was to be like a treaty, like the Articles of Confederation were viewed. This was to be we the people, not we the people kissing the ass of the state. So North Carolina was the only state that voted down the Constitution. And they voted it down like 85 to 65 or something, because a big reason was God wasn't sufficiently in the Constitution. And I've read this before, and it's like James Iredell got up to speak for the Constitution. And they had a subsequent ratification convention, and they approved it, because otherwise they would have been out in the cold. But Iredell's important because not only was he the son of a clergyman and the grandson of a clergyman, very devout himself as a Christian, he also was one of the first justices of the Supreme Court of the United States. And he said, but it's objected that the people of America may perhaps choose representatives who have no religion at all, and that pagans and Mohammedans may be admitted into offices. But how is it possible to exclude any set of men without taking away that principle of religious freedom which we ourselves so warmly contend for? This is the foundation of which persecution has been raised in every part of the world. So there you got it, Beckwith. Beckwith, you want to dispute this? You want to debate me? You're a putz.
He's a punk. Mark, he is such a fucking punk. He is a such a coward. All of the synonyms for coward right now, everybody put them in your mind, and worse.
But here's another thing, is that he doesn't offer anything that's positive, because if you look at the great religions of the world, the great beliefs, what's one belief that's kind of common? The golden rule. Okay, well, Jesus brought that up. Actually, that predates Christianity.
Yeah, no, everybody's into the golden rule, and every deity. That's like the whole principle of the whole damn thing.
Yeah, so when you then bring in a religion that says, no, we're the only way, and if you're not our way, you can't be moral.
And P.S. Jesus was someone that was not able to technically become a prophet for the Judaic faith because he did not meet all the requirements. And then these people took him over and made an entire religion over it. Stop it.
Well,
I'm tired of it. I don't care if that's blasphemous. Call me out. I think he was created by a sperm and an egg, and he was a prodigy. I think Jesus was dope. I think there are a lot of people, including Jews and Muslims and Hindus and people that are really into humanity, right? That believe that Jesus's principles are dope, like, and great and beautiful, if you don't understand what that means. But that does not mean that all the rest of it has to be. Does that make sense? Right? Like,
no,
I
it
think
does,
Jesus
because
is great. Like, I will follow what Jesus says, but you're not going to get me on all the other, on all the other bullshit that you're better than all these other faiths that, first of all, predated Jesus. And second of all, dude didn't even make the cut for straight up.
Well, here's the thing. When he's sitting there saying,
sorry, Christians, you had such fragility that you had to make up an entire religion around a man that literally fought not to become a king or a king. People wanted him to overtake Caesar. They wanted him to take over nations. They wanted him to go and exert his power and follow him, and he refused. You made a religion over someone that didn't want you to even do it.
well, but that goes kind of like hand in glove with most religions, because I think the Buddha said, "I am not God," and then within 100 years of his death, people were worshiping him as a god. And
right.
so
or
it's like
the idea of this, like, people want to use the one thing that Jesus never actually addressed. Like, I mean, there are the abortions in the Bible, don't get it twisted, but Jesus Christ himself never addressed specifically abortion. So they want to use the one thing that he never addressed to literally cut out. No, wait. To cut out, to use as the one thing to cut out everything else to make their vote on. That makes no sense. The one thing he didn't address, they're using to address and insert into their political values.
Well, they're doing that anytime they can get a wedge issue, it means that they don't have to provide a solution to anything. They just have to convince you that you shouldn't vote for them because they're evil. And as like Trump saying in the debate, well, I've got a concept of a health insurance plan or something. He had 4 years in office, the first two of which there was a majority in both houses of Congress that were Republican. They don't know what they're doing on that. So when you're looking at religion, it's being used as a means for exerting power. And a very, very strong argument is made that Constantine, who was the emperor who adopted Christianity as the religion, did so because it helped him to maintain power. And those are all organizational kinds of things. But here's the bottom line, because we're getting to the end of this segment and this has been fun. We have an election. It's November 5th. And if you haven't voted yet, be sure that if you want to vote early, depending on what county you're in, and there are people who might not be listening to this who are in other states, whatever the schedule is in your state for early voting or whatever, make sure you vote. You make sure you got the right ID. Here in Indiana, we've had early voting since October 8th. The early voting sites now, starting I think this Saturday or Sunday, are all over the county. There are like 9 sites in Marion County here where Indianapolis is located. Because if you get down to election day, there are going to be long lines. If it's anything like it was in 2020, and I stood in line for like 3 hours.
Wow.
I was glad to, because that was important. It was an important vote.
Right.
So, Cassie, anything else you want to say in signing off tonight?
No, you've been great. Thanks for letting me have some chats with you. I appreciate you.
Thanks for coming on to the show, and gang, we'll be back with more episodes of Civil Discourse Now. May the force do whatever, peace be with you. Not